Hello everyone, Big Friendly Wargamer here. I'm going to do a little video about how I paint my Necrons. I'm getting close to the end of the Indomitus box set, for the Necron side anyway, and I thought I'd show you how I paint them. Now you may have caught how I paint them in different videos I've done before when I've done the hobby blog and stuff, but I'm going to show you the colours I use and do stage by stage. Now it's not this it will be completed this week, but it is very hot again today. It is Tuesday today, so what I'll do is I'll pan the camera around so you can have a look at what paints I use, including a really old paint, but I can suggest an alternate, and then I'm going to start working on my Necrons again, so I'll do that now. Right. So these are all the basic paints I use on my Necrons. Now, compared to my Blood Angels, this is really a small amount. I go a little bit overboard with my Blood Angels, but Necrons are more generic, so I don't go overboard with the number of paints I use. As you can see, one of them is a really old paint, but there's ways around that, and I'll suggest it in a minute. So basically what I do, so you start with Zandri dust, which is the spray paint. I'll show you one now. So this is one of the Scorpic destroyers. Basically what I've done is, while holding it there, as you can see, and there, and there, I normally wear a pair of marigold gloves to protect my hands. And I just spray all over, and this is Zandri dust straight onto the plastic. It serves as an undercoat and a base coat, and you want to make sure you're quite thorough and you don't have any bare plastic left. I've done quite well with this one. So that's your base coat down. From there you will then do a layer of Ushabti bone, then a layer of Screaming Skull, and then you do edge highlight of White Scar. Now you want the White Scar to be quite thin. Generally speaking, it's quite a thick paint. From then I will paint all the shoulders and any other bits that I want turquoise as Hawk Turquoise. Now, this isn't a paint that's available anymore from Games Workshop anyway. If you want to get this effect, this colour, I mean, I would go with Stegadon Scale Green, which is that one, and then Temple Guard Sotek Green, and then Temple Guard Blue. It'll give you roughly the same, and then it's a case of edge highlighting with Baharroth blue. So that will complete your turquoise. Now, as you can see from this guy, he's got these big blades, and I paint the blades and any any power bits with Caldor Sky. Generally you will need 2 coats of this because it is a fairly thin blue. So you go 2 coats of that. I don't worry about the shade, I use the Caldor Sky as the shade, and then I will go over the raised bits with Teclis blue. It gives it a nice depth to the blue, which I will show you. Say for example on this Royal Guard, you can see the dark blue on the power bits here, and on the power bits there, and on the wires around the back. So it gives you quite a nice blue energy colour. And from then, now I have a thing with my Necrons where their spine, so you can see the spine bit here, kind of denotes what they are. So my general warriors, as you can see from here, I've just got the bone coloured spines, nothing special. But then you go up to, say, the Royal Warden, who's a HQ character, has got the bronze spine. Because the way I look at it, their spines that are what holds their memory kind of thing. So the lords and the characters are going to have more memories from their previous lives than the actual warriors are. And then I have another thing, like, say for example, I don't know whether to do it with these because they're not, but anything that's got like a jump ability, say for example the normal destroyers, the Praetorians, I think that's about it. I normally paint their spines black, it makes them stand out a bit more. Right, from then I start painting any bronze bits. So on this guy, you'll see the weapon bit here will be painted bronze, and as you can see, like, you'll see a fair bit of bronze on that guy. Most of the warriors have got bronze on their guns. So yeah, so I start the bronze with Screaming Bell. You'll need 2 coats of this as well, because generally speaking you do need 2 coats of most things. Then you shade it with Reikland Fleshshade. Then you do a single layer of Hashut copper, a single layer of Sycorax bronze, and leaving more and more space showing the undercolour, and then a quick dry brush of Golden Griffon to get the edge highlights. And yeah, and that's more or less it. I mean, I've got Mechanicus Standard Grey out because, as you can see with a lot of these Necrons from Indomitus, they have like rocks on their bases. So when I get round to painting the bases, generally I paint them this grey, and then I use Astrogranite as texture for the base, which really, it gives you this kind of a base. So as you can see, where is it? There you go. Gives you a nice texture on the base, because all I do then is I dry brush with Longbead Grey and paint the rims with Abaddon Black. I use Abaddon Black on the guns obviously as well, as you can see here. So my basic colours are bone, turquoise and black with bronze and blue. So yeah, it is 5 colours and it's layers, but to me it works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get painting. I'll get all these Scorpic Destroyers to the next level and I'll show you how that looks. Alright, so now these have all been layered with Ushabti bone. So you can see the difference in colour between the blade and the actual armour now. So I've done all 3 of these, the destroyers, the Scorpic Destroyers, and I've done the Scorpic Lord as well. So the next stage is to do the same again with Screaming Skull, which I'll do that now and I'll show you how it looks afterwards. Right, so this guy has now got Screaming Skull laid on him. It doesn't look much different from this guy who has Ushabti bone still. Well, it does actually under the light, but there you go. So yeah, so the next layer will be the white scar edge highlights. Okay, so this guy's white cream armour is now complete with the white scar edge highlight done. Generally speaking, once I get to this stage, I then do the turquoise, which will be on the shoulders, and for that I use Hawk Turquoise. Right, so as you can see, the turquoise is now done. Painted the shoulder pads and the chest symbol. And the next stage is to highlight these with Baharroth Blue. Right, so the Baharroth Blue is now applied. As you can see, the edge highlighting. Let me try and get a decent angle on it. It's quite difficult to do that. See the edge highlighting on the shoulders and on the chest piece. And then I go and I dot the eyes as well, so they have, zoom in like that. That's not working. There you go. So all my Necrons have blue eyes, very cold eyes. So the next part I'm going to start working on is the weapons, and for that it's the bronze, and we're going to use Scream Your Bell. Right, so as you can see, the bronze is down now, or the brass, sorry, on the swords, on all three. It took 2 layers because it's a bit of a thin colour. But next you want to use Reikland Fleshshade. So the brass is now shaded. Obviously you got to wait for it to dry. And basically after that you can start working up with Hashut Copper. So with the Hashut Copper applied, you can see the shine on the weapons, and then following that goes Sycorax Bronze. So with the Sycorax Bronze now applied, you can see the weapon is quite shiny, but you just want to take it one more layer and add a dry brush of Golden Griffon. And with that dry brush, the bronze is now complete, and I can move on to the blue energy for the weapons. For that, I'll be using Caldor Sky. Right, so you can see the blue blade on this Scorpic Destroyer. It took 2 layers of Caldor Sky because it's a bit of a thin paint, even though it's a base coat. So you do need 2 layers. I painted the little orbs, which are the power sources for the weapons, and the legs as well. So yeah, so next all of the blue parts will receive a layer of Teclis blue. Right, so now you can see the blades are got the blue on them with the darker blue in the recess. And now what I'm going to do is just pick out any bits. So for example, on these destroyers you see the little pistons underneath, you've got the wires down there. Any little bits like that I pick out with Abaddon Black. Right, so as you can see, the pistons underneath are now painted black, the wires are painted black, the pistons on his swords are painted black. Just anything basically that wasn't really painted, it just goes over with black. It just makes it easier. So now you can see he's got all these rocks and stuff on his bases, they all have. And basically what I'm going to do now is just paint all of these with Mechanicus Standard Grey. Right, so with the Mechanicus Standard Grey done, you'll find there's other bits and pieces on the bases. So for example, this destroyer here, he's got this metal bar. I generally do this at the end once I've finished painting. So this guy here, the one I've actually been showing you all along, he's got a skull there. Basically what I'll do is I'll paint that black afterwards and make it look like it's a recently severed head. But now what I'm going to do is texture the bases with Astrogranite. Right, now that the texture paint is dry, as you can see, it's a nice texture base. I'm going to do a dry brush of Longbead Grey. Okay, so once the dry brush is done, it's quite a quick stage of dry brushing. You want to paint the rims with some Abaddon Black, and what I'll also do while I've got this out is I'll paint the bits like the skull, which I want to be black anyway, because like I have done with my other Necrons. Leave that guy there. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. And with the rim of the base painted, the model is more or less complete. It's just a case of going around and hitting any little bits on the bases, like like you've got that bit there, so that'll just be painted like a silver, but this is just basic basing techniques really. But the squad is actually complete. I've also got the Destroyer Lord, who I've just got a little bit more to do on him. So yeah, that's basically how I paint my Necrons. Obviously the guys with the guns have black guns, as you can see from my warriors there. But yeah, I hope that's been useful to someone. So there you go, that's how I paint my Necrons. I have painted these across a couple of days, with it being hot and having other things going on. But yeah, there you go. I hope it's been useful to someone. It's just how I always have painted them. If you like these videos, please feel free to subscribe and send me a like. Tell me what you want to see me painting next. I may do this for some of my other armies as well. I know I've got Harlequins, Tyranids, Necrons, Bloodletters, Black Legion, Death Guard. I've got armies everywhere, so I'll see you next time. Bye bye.